Hello everyone, good morning, and thanks for joining me. Awesome, here we go. So we are on page 30 of your Unit 9 packet. This is lesson 5, and at the end of the stream, I will let you know what your homework is, because it's actually going to be in the packet instead of on either Khan Academy or Delta Math. So let me just get a little bit more adjusted here. Can you guys hear me okay? I've been having a lot of weird mic issues, so if you can't hear me, just let me know, because if I even think about bumping this wire, everything just goes off. So if you can't hear me, let me know. Or if you need me to be louder, just let me know in the chat. So, hold on. All right. So solving equations in one variable. This lesson should look familiar from Algebra 2. You probably solved some of these back then, so it should not be too bad. Let's begin. All right. So rational equations. Every rational equation can be written in the form. Let me zoom in. So I can write a little neater. Not that zoomed in. Okay. F of x over g of x equals 0. And if f of x and g of x are polynomial functions with no common factors, then the zeros of the numerator are solutions to the equation. Okay. So, clearing fractions procedure. First, we need to find... Oops, it's not writing. There we go. We need to find the LCD of all the terms. So again, LCD, least common denominator. You've been doing that for a pretty long time. And then we are going to multiply everybody by the LCD. So every single term gets multiplied by the LCD because we want to get rid of those denominators. Easier to solve an equation, but I don't have fractions to worry about. Okay, and if I'm going too fast, tell me to slow down. So when we multiply, ooh, that's a really sketchy Y if I've ever seen one. When we multiply or divide an equation by an expression containing variables, the resulting equation may have solutions that are not solutions of the original equation. For this reason, we must check each solution of the resulting equation in the original. Now that sounds like a mouthful and it sounds like a lot, but it's really not going to be that bad. We're going to identify what x cannot be equal to, and then we're just going to solve it. So if you can do that, all is good here. So let's take a gander. So if we look at this equation right now, we notice we have a variable in the denominator, and we got to think about what can you never have in the denominator? We can't have 0. You can't do that. So in this case, we're going to say x cannot be equal to 0. So if we solve this equation and we get 0 as an answer, we're going to reject it. Also, I can write each of these equations, each of these terms is over 1 if it's helpful, so you can identify the LCD. And here we can see, of course, if I have 1 and x as a denominator, my LCD is going to equal x. So what I'm going to do is multiply every single term, by that LCD. So we have x times x over 1 plus x times 6 over x equals x times 5 over 1. And I just do that so we can see easier if things are going to cancel out. If you really want, you can put all these little guys over 1 as well, because it's dividing by 1 isn't going to change the value of anything. So as we see here in our first one, x times x, nothing's going to cancel out there. We get x squared plus here we get x over 1 times 6 over x. Those x's are going to cancel out. So I'm just left with a 6. And that equals x over 1 times 5 over 1. Nothing cancels out. That equals 5x. It's a bad 5. If you saw how I was writing right now, you'd understand why my writing's so sketchy. I'm like hovering around this microphone, like trying to make sure I'm looking at my notes. It's a little sketchy back here. You can't see the sketchiness, but that's okay. All right, now we see we have a squared, an x, and a constant. I'm going to have to get this sucker equal to 0 and solve just like you've done in Algebra 1. So x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Oh, hello, floating page. There we go. Sorry about that. And then we're going to double bubble factor this. So I get x minus 3, x plus 2. Drop down your t-chart, and we see that we're going to get x equals 3 and x equals negative 2. Since neither of those are 0, they're valid denominators for the original. So I'm just going to say x equals 3 and x equals negative 2. Oh, wait. I made an error. My bad. X minus 2. Whew. Good catch, Sadler. Good catch. I did have my coffee this morning, but, you know, it's all good. Questions so far, or can I continue forward? Okay. I can always go back if you need me to. All right, here we still have some variables happening in the denominator, so I'm going to state what my x cannot be equal to. If I had a positive 3, I would get a 0 in that denominator, so x cannot be equal to positive 3. So if we solve this and we get positive 3, we're going to reject it. In our LCD, if I put each of these little guys over 1, we can see that our LCD is going to be the quantity x minus 3. So everybody's going to get multiplied by x minus 3. I used blue. That green was kind of ugly. So I have x minus 3. And I'm going to put it in parentheses that we know that we're multiplying the entire quantity by that piece times x. Plus x minus 3 times 1 over x minus 3, and I can put that in parentheses if it makes your heart happy, equals 1 times x minus 3. Guess I can put it over 1 to be consistent with what I was doing. And then we can see we've got some cancellations out here. And now I'm just going to simplify. I'm going to have to distribute in that first one. So we get x squared minus 3x. And then plus, the only thing left over there is a 1. And then equals x minus 3, because 1 times anything is just that thing. All right. So now we're going to get this equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract over my x, add that 3. So we get x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 0. Then we're going to double bubble, and I'll do it correctly this time. X minus 2, x minus 2. Drop my table down. And we'll see each of these is going to be equals 2. And since they're not 3, all is well in the world. Our final answer is x equals 2. So hopefully these are going well. They look familiar to you. I personally loved solving these when I was in Algebra 2. Actually, I took Math B. That's how old I am. I got caught in that little reign of terror. You know what I just figured out? I just learned the other day that I am truly older than Google. And that made my heart so sad. So sad. Anyway, moving on. This one, got a lot of action happening. On your notes, don't write super big, 'cause this one's going to be kind of long for our line, so just keep that in mind. We're going to state everything that our x is not allowed to be. X can't be a 0, can't be a, cannot equal positive 1. And then this is going to factor into x times x minus 1, which still, if I plugged in 1, I'm going to get 0. So those are my two solutions. It cannot be. So also factoring that GCF out and that denominator helps me determine what my LCD, I'll use a different color since I got a lot of pink happening over here. My LCD is going to equal, I did not leave myself enough space, did I? There we go. I have an x, and I have an x minus 1. If I put those together, I get the x squared minus x, so I don't need to include that again. Though if you did, it's not wrong. You're just going to have a lot more simplifying to do in the end, so don't make more work for yourself. All right, and now everybody gets multiplied by the LCD. And if you can do some of this in your head, like, feel free. I'm not going to be like, you must show every single step. I'm not going to do that. Show what is necessary. But I'm going to show it all just because this is your notes, you know? And you're not, a lot of you aren't here because you're sleeping. So, yep. So we have x times x minus 1 times x plus 2 over x. And if we want, we can simplify these out one piece at a time, since this is, actually I should write smaller because this is going to get really long on me really fast. I thought I could shrink it. Haha, I can shrink it. Look at me learning the iPad, living the dream. All right. So here we can see the x and the x are gone. All right, I'm going to push forward. Now I have minus, so I have my x and my x minus 1 times that next term, just 4 over x minus 1. And here I can see that the x minus 1s are gone. And then plus my x times x minus 1. Ooh, hello. There we go. Come on, Sadler. Get it together. Times 2 over, I'm going to write it as the factored form, just so you can see it cancel out a little bit nicer. So both of those go away. And I'm just going to write equals 0, because if I multiply anything by 0, it's still just going to be 0. But if you really want to show it, you know, have a party. Okay, so lots of stuff happening there. So let's break it down. What do I got left? I have, I'll change colors here because I feel like there's a lot going on. We have x minus 1 times x plus 2 minus x times 4 plus 2 equals 0. Okay, give you a second to catch up there. And we're going to do a lot of simplifying and distributing. Going to double distribute here. So we get x squared plus 2x minus x minus 2. Drop down my minus 4x plus 2 equals 0. Then we're going to combine our like terms, which is a lot of them. Change this. So chubby. All right. So when you simplify your like terms, all the dust settles. Get some stuff that cancels out. Just kind of nice, you know. We get x squared minus 3x equals 0. And then we're just going to factor this. Not going to double bubble, but that's okay. No big deal. I got an x I can pull out, and then x minus 3 equals 0. I drop down my t-chart. I get x equals 0 and x equals 3. And if we recall back up to the top, I cannot have a value of x equals 0. So I'm going to cross it out, and I'm going to write reject, because that's not a possible answer. It will give us something that is undefined. So therefore, x equals 3 is the only viable solution for this problem. Okay. Uno más. I'm going to erase this so it doesn't get in the way. Maybe. There we go. Oh, one more. Little mark. All right, it's not going away. Whatever. Alrighty. So, lots of good stuff happening here as well. If you notice that one denominator that says x squared minus 1, that's the difference of two perfect squares. So that's actually going to double bubble for us, which is kind of cool. So that's going to be an x plus 1 and an x minus 1. So let's say, what can x not equal? Oh, hello. Large highlighter that I did not want to click. If we look at our denominators, x can't equal positive 1. X cannot equal, oh my goodness, iPad, work with me. Did the pen die? Ah, nope, just delayed. And x cannot equal negative 1. So those are my two restrictions. And then if we look at our denominators, I need an x minus 1 and I need an x plus 1. And then the middle has both of those, which is kind of nice. Let's do this. Our LCD is just going to be x plus 1 and x minus 1. Again, if it's already taken care of, you don't need to write it twice. It's not wrong if you do, but it's going to make more work on yourself. So don't make your life harder than it is, you know. All right. So, again, some of you by this point might be able to do a lot of this cancellation off in your head. And if that's the case, it's totally fine. I'm going to show all the steps, though. And again, don't write too big because there's a lot going on. So, remember, everybody gets multiplied by the LCD. So, we have x plus 1, x minus 1 times our first fraction. And we can see there that our x minus 1's cancel out. Equals. Ooh, I should have written smaller. Going into dangerous territory here. Write small. I'm going to shrink it. Oh, let's try that again. Okay. Sorry about that. And then we have x plus 1, x minus 1 times 10 over, I'm going to write the x squared minus 1 just to save some space, but as we saw above, that's the whole thing, so that all cancels out. Nice. Won't let me scroll over. Sad. Well, that's a bummer. Okay. Plus x plus 1, x minus 1. Ah, crap. Well, it's going to get a little squishy here, people. It's all good. Oh, man. Not even writing the right numbers because I'm so frustrated. Over x plus 1. So, sorry that's messy, but whatever. It's all good in the hood. So, that cancels out. So, let's see what we're working with here. I'm going to change colors. We have x plus 1 and 2x plus 3 equals 10. Plus, I have x minus 1 and that 2x minus 3 left. So hopefully your paper's neater than mine, but it's all good. Nobody's perfect. All right, let's simplify this out. We're going to get 2x squared plus 5x plus 3 when the dust settles over there. And then here we get 10 plus 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. So I'm just doing that combining like terms in my head. You can show out those steps if you want. I don't want to. And then we got to get everything to one side. Well, if we look at this, a lot is canceling out. If I subtract 2x squared by either side, that's gone. So that's kind of nice. And similarly, if I, these 3's are also going to cancel out. So let's clean that up. We have 5x equals 10 minus 5x. So no squareds here, so no factoring. That's always nice. So I'm going to add over the 5x. So we get 10x equals 10. And therefore we get x equals 1. But as we said at the top, x is not allowed to be 1. So we're going to reject this. And now you might be thinking, crap, I don't have anything left. That's okay. There is no solution. And that is okay. So we do not get a real solution for that question. So that's all I'm going to do today. I'm not going to do those word problems with you, so you can cross those off. Woo woo! I know you're devastated, right? Secretly all doing a party. Hi, Ethan. Welcome to Pre-Calculus. So your homework is going to be scooch over to page, what is this? Page 33. So your homework for tonight is page 33, and it's going to be numbers 1 through 6 and number 9. So 1 through 6 and number 9, that is going to be due on Friday. And what I'll do is, because I can't physically check it, as you know, we're just going on the honor system here. I want you to do it and practice it because it's a skill you need. And I will post the answer key sometime on Friday. I'll post the pictures of my answer key into Microsoft Teams for you to check. If you have any questions, I have my office hours for pre-calculus only today during 1 to 2. So feel free. Also, some of you were struggling on the Khan Academy that was due today, so come on, hop in, and I'll help you out with that. And your next live video will be Friday, and I'll post all those awesome details. Hello, sir. Binya. Okay, I can't pronounce it. Hello. So check Microsoft Teams, and I'll help you out. So hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Happy Wednesday.